Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware. Welcome to you who are in the sanctuary, who have found your favorite seats, or maybe an alternative. And welcome to you who join us online, remotely. My name is James Moser. I am the worship associate for this morning's service, and a little bit different one it will be. Well, that's enough of a taste. Whether you are a seasoned UU or you're visiting here for the first time, makes no difference. You are welcome here. Whether you come today with a sense of calm in your life, or if you're experiencing stress and crisis, you're welcome here. Whether you are single or partnered, or single again, you're welcome here. No matter your status in life, no matter your religious background or none, no matter whom you love, you are welcome here. As Unitarians, we are a diverse people with wide-ranging concerns and beliefs, but we find common ground in the spirit of our community. So let us welcome one another. First, as has become our custom, let us turn to the camera on the wall and offer a wave to our remote viewers and participants. And now, please offer a warm greeting to those around you. To be more informed about First U, we urge people to connect to our website and/or the email newsletter that arrives every Friday. Today's message will be manifold, focusing on a theme of poetic creativity and imagination for healing and wellness, presented by various members of our congregation. And today we welcome Pam Finkelstein, who will be our song leader, and Hiroko Yamazaki, our guest pianist. Now let us prepare our hearts and minds and our spirits for the gifts that we shall receive in today's service.
Okay, I am still the Reverend Larry Pierce, minister of the First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, now amplified for your pleasure, your listening pleasure. Now, this is right before I begin my vacation starting this Monday. It has been for us as we've tried to navigate all the things happening in our world this past year, and there's been a lot. It has been an exhausting and exhilarating time, both. I might have arrived in a wheelbarrow this morning. Someone just brought me in. I have a little more energy to do this one service, and I promised everyone they wouldn't have to take me out in a stretcher because I will be energized by our time together. But I have one request. Can I take a photo of you? Okay, so give me your best smile. Got almost everyone. Great. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, it gave me a video instead of a picture. You look beautiful in both of them. So this is the first of our series of summer services. If you haven't yet picked up a brochure, please do so. They will be at the name tag table following the service. This is not for you alone. It's for you to share with a neighbor or a friend, to invite them along this summer. And as you'll notice, we have a series of services, some of which will have members of our congregation who'll be speaking, and others will be some guest ministers that we're inviting for the summer. So I'm excited for you for that. I do want to give a little bit of a background to this particular service, since it's a little different. So I began to offer the Poetry as a Tool for Wellness program at First Unitarian Church 4 years ago. It began in desperation. I was new to the congregation. We were emerging and submerging through the pandemic. When we did show up in the congregation, we were masked. And when the service was over, people would leave quickly through the side doors so as to not catch anything. We bumped elbows back then, remember? Our eyes smiled at each other above our masks. We had numerous Zoom meetings where people blurted out a sentence or two and then went on mute until someone else would go on and blurt out a sentence or two and then go on mute. That was like what conversations were like back then. But I found myself wondering, who are these people? What do they care about? What are they experiencing? What would it be like to actually engage in some kind of conversation with them? It was then that I decided if we had to be masked the whole time, even if most or some of us were going to be on Zoom, that I would offer a program at this church, Poetry as a Tool for Wellness. I had been trained in this program of the Institute of Poetic Medicine, and I was ready to share it with others. First, I had to dispel all of our past experiences about poetry and explain that this was not about finding the right meaning of a poem. It wasn't about writing the perfect poem. Some people were surprised they were going to be asked to write a poem. But it was about entering a process of exploring a topic together through quotes and poems and writing prompts and reading and offering our poems to one another. Of course, it has, over these last 4 years, been a great way to invite each other into our lives and to discover the power of the creative process and to discover healing as a spiritual and to discover poetry as a healing and spiritual process as well. Dozens of people in our congregation have come to at least one of these sessions, from those in the 30s to those even in their 90s. So it's been a wide range of people who've participated. Today we'll hear poems from a small number of the people in our congregation who participated at one time or another. Not everyone could make it today. Not everyone wanted to read. We'll mostly hear poems that the readers wrote. We'll also hear poems written by other poets. So we'll begin with this poem, and as I read the poem, I'd like for you to listen to the specific invitation it is giving to you. We'll project the words of most of the poems on the screen so you can follow along another way of hearing the poem by seeing it. If there's a verse in the poem that you find yourself lingering with, then linger there for just a moment and allow it to be like a message tucked into your heart to think about later. So our first poem, Love After Love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you. All your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. I'm not sure if the author was projected on the screen, but okay. All right, so.
Just a light comment before we do the lighting. The applause for you going on vacation, I'm sure, was not because you're leaving. It's because you deserve it. Yeah. Now, if you have a chalice at home, we invite you to put a flame to the wick as we do so here, and I read these words. We own a fire burning deep within. We carry a flame that we believe in. So light the chalice in this holy space, our flickering icon to illuminate our faith. Please rise as you're able to sing our hymn and then remain standing after for our affirmation.
Witness the mystery
Please join me in affirming our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
By the way, the poem that I used at the call to worship was written by Derek Walcott. So let's gather ourselves in a way where we can feel the stillness within, feel the connection between ourselves, one another, and this wondrous universe that sometimes scares us and other times awes us. Feel the pulse of life within yourself. Feel the rolling rhythms of breath that come as grace to be received. Feel the strength of a love that grounds you and a love that propels you. Feel the kindness of each other's presence and feel the wonder of a presence that communicates with us and that we become in the world. A presence of love, a presence of compassion, a presence of justice. Part of our meditation this morning, I'm going to read this poem, Whistling Swans by Mary Oliver. Do you bow your head when you pray, or do you look up into that blue space? Take your choice. Prayers fly from all directions, and don't worry about what language you use. God, no doubt, understands them all, even when the swans are flying north and making such a ruckus of noise. God is surely listening and understanding. Rumi said, there is no proof of the soul, but isn't the return of spring and how it springs up in our hearts a pretty good hint? Yes, I know God's silence never breaks, but is that really a problem? There are thousands of voices after all, and furthermore, don't you imagine, I just suggested, that the swans know about as much as we do about the whole business. So listen to them and watch them singing as they fly. Take from it what you can. Let's abide in a shared silence now as we prepare for a time of sharing our joys and concerns with one another. we begin to share our own prayers, I want to begin recognizing by lighting this candle that there's so much that is happening in the world around us week by week that weighs us down. The big issues of the world that we all carry in one way or another. Some of us are impacted more than others, but all of us are influenced. Just this week, we've gone through a bombing in Iran. We've seen some struggles in a budget that seems to prioritize some needs over those of others. We've seen some identities being obliterated, considered unimportant, or needing less respect. We worry about the outcomes of those who we have placed into responsible moral leadership, what decisions they will make, about the most vulnerable, about the health care of the most vulnerable, about the sustenance of the most vulnerable among us and in our world. So we name those broader issues, recognizing that we all carry them in our own way, right? We cannot escape them, but we need to name them. Those are just some of them. So having named those bigger issues, I'm wondering if we could now turn our attention to the particular concerns that we might have for those we love, those we care about, including ourselves. So if you're joining us online, you can write your responses in the chat, and in this room, we'll be able to hear a few of your concerns about those you love, about those you know about in this congregation, or even yourself. Do you have any concerns here that you'd like to speak aloud in this room? Okay, people who lost their homes in Philadelphia this morning. Okay, her niece who lost her job at a university related to research. Any concerns in this area of the room? Izzy Boyce? Yes, going through chemo. Six-year-old with cancer being deported. People who take care of our farms and our animals being deported. Anything else in this area? Friends, Rhea, Martin, and Valerie. Kelly, I met her, yes. The homeless. The less fortunate being sacrificed for the wealthy. Okay. Kristen, who lost her job with AID. Anyone here? Yes. Okay, Sharmita and her 5 children who are unhoused. So maybe with our hands held like this, we can hold the weight of all of those concerns and acknowledge to each other that we do not have to carry anything alone, that we can carry them together, and we can be that presence of love and compassion and justice so desperately needed in this moment. What about a joy? There's got to be a joy somewhere. Is there a joy that you're celebrating this week that lightens your heart, that brings a smile to your face? What is it? Demonstration. Francesca went to her first rock concert yesterday, and you're so happy. Wow, 80th year. Okay. Any other joys in this area? Okay, what about here? Yes, Lois's recovery from surgery. I'm sorry, Lois, did you want to say something? Your grandson's new job as a lifeguard. Michael got first place in his relay. Let's do a cheer that he can hear up into the education building. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You could show him the video later. Okay. She's just back from Montana visiting 4 grandchildren, graduations and other things. Yes, granddaughter at Cornell and then Harvard this summer. Chris. See. Yeah. Great, Chris. Kathy. Oh, wonderful. Successful cataract surgery. How about any other joys? Yes.
My sister's continued remission from cancer.
Sister's continual remission from cancer. Son's coming to visit. You're playing music for a whole week next week. Let's just relish that for her for a moment. She has a whole week to enjoy that. Wonderful. Brand new puppy. Yes, I was wondering when we were going to get to that. Marina, would you mind just standing up? Not to put you on the spot, but... So we'll have an opportunity to hear a little bit more and celebrate Marina in our time after the service, who's retiring. Is it a pastor? She's retired as of Friday. Yes, Vivian. Family reunion. I think we could go on and on with joys. That's wonderful. Go ahead.
Oh, well, it was my birthday this week, and on that very day, I was able to get my broken knee immobilizer off.
Wow. So once you have a birthday, anything that ails you will be relieved. Great. Okay. All right. So now we'll have our musical meditation. So when Guy Johnson, who is the son of the famous poet and author and civil rights activist Maya Angelou, was in the hospital in Miami, he called his mother on the phone and asked her, "Mom, could you recite the poem Invictus for me?" "Of course," she said. In an interview years later, Maya Angelou shared that as I began to speak the poem to him in the hospital, I remembered the 8-year-old to whom I had taught it. I remembered that little person stomping around, marching like he was a soldier. And now here he was, a man needing something to hold on to, something to repeat to himself. She spoke these lines from the poem on the phone to him that day while he was in the hospital, as he requested. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul, she continued. I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. When she finished, her son reminded her that she had forgotten one of the verses. And so he asked her, now, would you do the poem with me? Use your cadence. I'll follow you. Together they spoke the poem on the phone. When they were finished, he said, thank you, Mom. While we were saying that poem, the doctors were digging all the stitches out of my back. This seems to be an example, a literal example of poetry as medicine, maybe as an anesthetic. Yet even without an accompanying surgery, there may be poems that you turn to now and then to provide that ballast, that strength of spirit, or that reminder of something greater, and that provides some anchoring again in hope, some capacity for faithing. What are some examples of those poems for you? I'm listening. Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. Hymn lyrics. O captain, my captain. Mary had a little lamb. When despair for the world? Yeah. So think about that. Think about what is your anchoring poem. When I was in 10th grade, at the beginning of each elocution class, doesn't that sound ancient? Elocution class. I guess they'd call it public speaking class today. The teacher would have us as a class recite eventually from memory the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. It contains these opening verses. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting. The teacher knew what he was doing when he gifted the group of adolescents with that poem. It became a tincture for me to apply in those moments when I needed some necessary recentering. I've long forgotten the name of that teacher. I can still see him in my mind's eye. I thank him for the gift of this poem. Poetry may not have saved you, my friends, but it may have helped you along the way. In particular, the process of composing poetry, not just in the school-like version where we may feel we've got to get it right and we're serving the rules that do not always need to apply, but writing poetry, that poetry making, poem making, that responds to something that is stirred in you, that seeks expression in you, that is the kind of poetry, in my experience, that can heal you in subtle ways. In subtle ways that you might not even notice. This poetry as medicine takes a homeopathic approach to healing, which happens in small doses and over time shifts some of the energies and the awarenesses within us. That is what I have experienced again and again in participating in facilitating the poetry as a tool for wellness. If we can understand healing as a process of deeper integration that wades towards the shores of wholeness, poetry that invites the disparate, disconnected, and dismaying parts of ourselves to be heard, to be held, to be healed. What we might ordinarily never hear within us finally enters the waiting room of our soul and eventually finds a way towards expression. You don't need a scalpel for this kind of healing. You don't need someone to apply a treatment. For this kind of healing, you just need a pen and paper, of course. And you need the not so certain, but the always available willingness to sit a while until the stillness you are until in the stillness you are prompted to give shape to your inner experiences. And also, let's face it, you need the openness to be shaped by your inner experiences as well. The medical doctor Rachel Naomi Raman states, poetry is simply speaking truth. Each of us has a truth as unique as our own fingerprints. Without knowing that truth, without speaking it aloud, we cannot know who we are and that we are already whole. One of the best kept secrets in this technically oriented culture is that simply speaking the truth heals. The process of writing a poem could seem like only constructing verses with words and putting them on paper. Yet when we enter the process of poem making, I sense that it is also about entering a place in the imagination in which we attend to our heart and soul, our senses and our thoughts, our imagery and our realities, and we let them commune with each other. Surprisingly, we may discover what our everyday consciousness doesn't always permit. As I've reflected on this experience of poem making done for the purpose of speaking the truth that heals, here's what I'm coming to understand. Often, we can receive a poem as much as write it. Those of us who are artists of any kind in this congregation, do you know that experience of receiving art as well as creating it? Yes or no? Yeah. Often we are being composed at the same time that we are composing verses. Writing poetry can often slow us down enough so that we enter into our experiences in some more wholesome way. And in our slowing down, there is an opportunity to tune into our senses, to entertain imagery, to most importantly, open ourselves to surprises, to mini revelations of sorts. Writing a poem can feel like we're taking a running start toward what beckons us, and then in the process we may find ourselves dilly-dallying, as we always do, until somehow, some way, we find our stride again, and maybe even the poem writes us. It is those stopping moments when we might feel uncertain or stuck or stymied that I believe is where the real medicine happens. It is those moments when we may feel the poem is taking us to the edge of a cliff, and we have no choice but to find a new way forward, to find a new perspective, to go deeper or wider than we usually do. When we have the courage to delve beyond the safe surface and release what has us in its grips, it is then that the medicine of poetry does its work. Our healing can take many forms. If you're the kind of person that is so certain you know what is right and that everyone else should comply, then in writing poetry, you might come to a stopping place on the edge of the unknown and linger there a little while longer than you usually do. You may try to apply your bossing others around on yourself, and you see yourself for the first time. A healing may occur for you in those edges of the unknown places in poem making, and you may be gradually released from your knowing what is right. You might discover how tight your jaw is, how piercing your hawk eyes are, how deliberate your gait is, and out of nowhere, that's spelled K-N-O-W, out of nowhere, you are stuck. And rather than cover it up with more forcing of the world to fit your demands, you enter into that place of surprise. You are softened, and you find moments of surprising security in not knowing. When you can stay with it, you climb your way out of that place to find more of yourself than you knew was there. The next word arises, the next image whispers to you, a new line is composed that you did not already know. Healing is in that place of release, that place of softening, that place of resting in the unknown. It's in that pause, that edge of the unknown, I believe that the creative spirit, or call it God, or the divine, arises to meet us if we are open and can rest in that possibility. Rumi, the poet, reminds us of this place in his verses. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. If you feel or if you are or feel you should be a know-it-all, poetry can relieve you of your duties. And you can be healed into different ways of being, if only during the time of poem making. So in Poetry as a Tool for Wellness, we often have been invited to sit with people, to sit with poets who are not like you, and to begin to discover what you'd never know unless you entered their point of view, their pains, their sorrows, their traumas, their unique experiences. The end product is not the poem. It's the process that got us here, that turned us inside out, that connects sense with feeling, image with intellect, word with silence. Poetry is a natural medicine. It is like a homeopathic tincture derived from the stuff of life itself, your experiences. So I'd like to invite now some of the people who will be reading their poems or a poem now.
Hi. Well, I attended Larry's very first class. I read about it in the e-news, and I thought, I'm probably not going to like that, but I'll give it a try. And I told him when we introduced ourselves, I said, I'm here, but I'm probably not going to like this, but I'm going to try it. And guess what? I loved it. Larry was so supportive and so encouraging, and I loved hearing the voices of the other people in the class as they shared what they had written. And now I go to every class I can. I've missed a couple, but not very many. And those of you who go know I'm usually always there. So I found it to be an enormous source of healing for me. I've learned things about myself that I didn't realize. And when you write it down and you read it back, you go, yeah, that's me. That's what I'm feeling. So it's been very helpful, and I write poetry all the time. When something strikes me, I just sit down and write a poem. So this one happened one day when Michael and I were talking. Michael's my 8-year-old grandson. And he looked at me, he calls me Oma. He says, Oma, you're going to live to be 105, and I'm going to be 40. And I did some math, and it's like, he's right, that works. He will be 40. And it's like, okay, Michael. And he said, and I'll take care of you. It's like, okay. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, I need to write a poem about what I want when I'm 105 and Michael's taking care of me. So I wrote this poem called When I Am 105. Let the sunlight shine through my windows. Come sit with me in the morning and tell me your dreams for the day. Bring me my club soda with 3 fresh lime slices squeezed into a glass full of ice. Come back in the evening and read to me from your favorite book. And always kiss me goodnight. And let me tell you again and again and again that I love you.
Into the Woods is a poem I wrote when my son was growing up and was going off for the first time on a school campout without me. Now, I'm a scientist. I hated freshman English. I only made it through the poetry because the fellow I was dating could interpret it for me, and so I made it through. So I never expected to write poetry, but the ups and downs of raising my son drove me to it. Fast forward 30 years, he's coming back for a visit, and I have since then taken Reverend Larry's poetry for wellness, and it's really brought me back to the joy and healing of poetry. So this one is about the age of your grandson. He was about 8 when this happened. Into the Woods. Oh, baby, have you packed everything you need? How about packing me? Oh, baby, what about taking a coat to stay warm? How about packing my arms? Oh, baby, don't forget to pace yourself. How about following me? Mom, I can do it. See, neatly bagged clothes, all packed, no mess. Yay, he can. He did. You didn't think I could, did you? Yes, I did. Oh, God, he can. Baby, don't leave your love behind when you go off into the woods.
Just gave me a step. I ventured, how's that? I ventured into the first year of Poetry for Wellness without much thought about the wellness part. I really just wanted an incentive to get my rusty pen out and put a few poems on paper. From the start, it was stimulating, although my early efforts did not go deep into my emotional well, because at that time, I was pretty much living near the surface. Then things changed. I'll be okay. Many of you, as caring friends, know that my husband, Bob Ingersoll, died in early December. Poetry for Wellness took on a new meaning for me, offering a way to explore and express my emotion. I was grateful for Larry's empathic guidance and for the support and comfort of classmates for their poems and for the stories that inspired them. Here They Come is a poem I wrote both about and to Bob this winter. Here they come, you said, as we heard the geese singing their homecoming chorus on our pond. Slowly lowering, airborne arrow pointed to the red gold of the setting sun, always from east to west, often circling. They glide onto the water, their resting place, their home. How many times have we stood charmed under the darkening sky, first listening and then watching as they came home for the night? We could walk across the pond on their backs, you said. They're like stepping stones. And then we'd watch for the moon, waxing or waning, a crescent, a smile, a cloud-shrouded mystery, a gentle ball of light. But now, lying there, we listened together once more to their chorus. Their home, you said, contentment in your voice. Did you hear what they were singing? It seemed you did, and you welcomed their call, their homecoming. Then, like so many nights, so many years of nights, their song became our lullaby, soothing us to sleep. I touched you in the darkness, grateful to feel you so close, so warm, so beloved, so part of me. My sleep was deep, wrapped in the comfort of our togetherness. I don't remember dreaming. I woke in silent morning light, the geese long gone, airborne once more, their sunrise song again echoing over far-off fields. Oh, I'm sorry. I reached for you, but you too had gone, risen with the geese. I'd like to think you heard their morning call to rise and fly. Now there will be no more whispering, no more touching of our hands. Our time together now is spent. I don't know when you will speak to me again, but I know you will. We will speak of love and of forever, maybe in the call of the geese. Oh, that was too brave. Now, I have one last line of my intro. I'll follow that with, have you seen a panda? To remind myself and all of us that our heart's poetry can be an expression of all our emotions. Are you sure, he asks, looking at me, eyes wide, trusting but curious. We stand by the bamboo where the pandas live in our backyard, where for 10 years, my grandson has looked for the gifts from the pandas, and they have never failed him. Now he asks again, are you sure? Are you sure pandas live in that bamboo? His arms are crossed, confrontation. Have you ever seen a panda out there? Uh-oh, it's the Santa Claus question. Here I stand, no snow, no trees, no stockings hung by the fire nail, not even jingle bells. Yes, Kai, I am sure, thinking this might be one of the most important questions I've ever had to answer. I've never really seen a panda in the bamboo, but I know they are here. Let's just stand still a minute. Be still. Breathe. Do you feel it? That's panda love. That's panda energy. They're teaching us to feel it. It's their best gift of all. Panda energy is all around us. We just have to open our hearts. Stand still, take a deep breath, and you will always feel it. Kai is 12 now, taller than I am. He hasn't been back to the bamboo, but Christmas is coming, and I feel sure he'll hear reindeer and pandas.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see you all. Thank you for coming. Recently, I traveled for 7 hours in the backseat of a car, a very painful ride. Unexpected happenings, that time, today's world, and the format of Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, gave me thought for these words. So I don't feel so alone. Wrote this before I knew. This writing welcomes audience participation. Please feel free to shout, yes, yes, yes. Clap, stand, stomp, raise your arm, anything you'd like, whenever. And now, titled, Tomorrow's Ancestors. If we can give and accept what there is without being judgmental, what joy we may find. If I can accept what I am and imagine what I can become, I can see the flowers rejoice at the butterfly. If you can hold my hand, we may not stumble on life's rocky path, but look out and down at the beauty we find. If we can work hard, see the fruits of our work, we will know every moment was a good one. If I can meet a person I don't know, and she calls me her new best friend, and I feel the same, just maybe there is a divine presence. If we can forgive ourselves and others for what they do and don't do, we will find peace. If we can let go to march, protest injustice, speak for the poor, infirm, the children, we will be remembered. If you and I can take 2 steps forward for each step backward, you and I will arrive, for we are where we are meant to be. If you can give, casting hope to all you touch, you will make a difference. If we can see even the smallest little things can bring great change, we can hope, casting a ripple effect throughout the world. If you can turn hurt, pain, to look to the sky and see a rainbow, though your eyes are closed, you will see the future. If I can do my best with love, lift up those near and far, I will begin to heal. If we can fall down, know we are stronger than we think, and believe help is on the way. We will rise again and again. If we can dance and sing with joyous abandon, feeling the embrace of the moment, we, though human, mistakes, dreams, choices, we become a part of all that was, is, and will be. We live now and forever as tomorrow's ancestors.
Good morning. Some of our longtime church members may remember my husband, Jim Hanley, who passed away in February 2007 from lung cancer. Jim had been a regular volunteer here. It so happens that John Updike, a well-known author of novels, literary criticism, and poetry, died in January 2009, also of lung cancer. His passing was well publicized at the time, and mention was made of the last collection of poetry that Updike wrote. It was titled End Point. The title being a direct reference to the end of Updike's own life. I promptly went out and purchased a copy. For my reading this morning, I have chosen Fine Point, the final piece of poetry that John Updike wrote. You'll note that it's a sonnet, the first 8 lines stating the issue, and the final 6 lines providing a response. Why go to Sunday school, though surlily, and not believe a bit of what was taught? The desert shepherds in their scratchy robes undoubtedly existed, and Israel's defeats, the temple in its sacredness destroyed by Babylon and Rome. Yet, Jews kept faith and passed the prayers, the crabbed rites, from table to table as Christians mocked. We mocked, but took. The temporal creed of praise gives spirit to the daily. Blood tinges lips. The tongue reposes in papyrus pleas, saying, surely, magnificent, that surely, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life forever. Thank you.
Buongiorno. I wrote this poem. If I put my glasses on, I can even read it. I wrote this poem, actually it pretty much wrote itself as a result of a prompt given to us by Reverend Larry in our Poetry for Wellness group. Emotions, sadness, regret, and hope. Keep in mind that this is written in a woman's voice. She's talking. I'm no stranger in this bus station. It's like most others across the nation. I came to this town with my hat in my hand and was able to create a good life. It was grand. Then it happened, you know, the big it, the lying and cheating that just wouldn't quit. He said that he cared and he was sorry and sad because I was the best woman he ever had. So I got fed up with the same old crap. He wasn't the first man that deserved a good slap. Instead, I grabbed some things for where I'll be because I'm going as far as this bus ticket will take me. Thank you.
So thank you for receiving these poems as offerings. Perhaps something got stirred in you, so you have an assignment. Here's your prompt. You ready? The poem that wants to write me is. What's your prompt? That wants to write me is. So you have some time this week with that being the first line of your poem. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. There's one more. Yes, one more. Thanks for reminding me. We have one more. Great.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share one of my poems that I have written.
It's a little low, John.
And the name of the poem I'm going to read is called Voices of Hope. And basically, this poem highlights the idea that hope is not just
We
an
started from the beginning.
individual feeling, but it's a collective. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share one of my poems that I have written. And the name of the poem I'm going to read is called Voices of Hope. And basically, this poem highlights the idea that hope is not just an individual feeling, but it's a collective strength that grows over time when it's shared with others. So the name of the poem is called Voices of Hope. In the quiet of the night, a whisper starts, a song of hope from countless hearts. Through shadows deep and skies so gray, voices of hope light the way. In every corner of the earth, a tale of hope, a story's birth, from fields of green to city streets. In every heart, hope rhythm beats. With every voice, a dream is shared, a vision bright, a future there. Through trials, faith, and battles fought, in hope we find the strength we sought. In unity, our voices rise, a chorus strong, beneath the skies. For each heart, a beacon bright, guiding us through the darkest night. Through tears and fears, we press ahead, with hope alive, our spirit fed. For the power of our dreams, hope light forever gleams. So let us sing, with voices clear, a song of hope for all to hear. For in our hearts a fire burns, a light of hope as the world turns. In every act of love and care, hope's voice is heard everywhere. For when we stand as one, we see the power of hope in you and me.
Nice. So we are fortunate, DL, if you're watching, DL Danoon is her name. She's a published poet. She led one of our poetry classes in the LifeStream program this year as well. And so you can look her up. She joins us most on Zoom, so this was wonderful to be able to include her today in our poetry reading. So it's great. Now we can move on.
Who are we and why do we give? Well, we're a church, although that word has a lot of current dialogue surrounding it in UU circles. What is a church? Well, a church, as we know, is not the steeple, it's the people. Okay. We're a congregation. Well, that's a gathering. Feels a little bit warmer. We're a community, and we refer to ourselves as community. We affirm that quite often. A word that I like is fellowship, but of course that's now become entangled in gender language. I like the feel of fellowship. There's something more than community going on there. And you know, we often talk about kith and kin. You know, kin, you've got them. Kith is an old-fashioned word for those who are in your circle of friendship, who are very meaningful to you, maybe more meaningful to you than your kin. I'd like to think of us as a kithship. That's not a word we should exercise often because of its problematic pronunciation, but we're a kithship here. Now, where am I going with this in terms of giving? I would like for us, and I try, to think of my giving as being an expression of my relationship with you. I would invite all of us to kind of look at that again. Kinship and kithship bring responsibilities. They bring obligations. But they're obligations rooted in a love that's deep enough to go ahead, do what you need to do, and still sense that the love you're giving is bigger than the gift. So, the ushers are going to wait on you in a minute for your dollar donations. And we don't count those little. That's very important. Let's focus, though, on what's behind that gift that you give, whether it's today, whether it's monthly, maybe even annually, whether you do it electronically, or whether you write a check, whether you pass cash. You're making a contribution from your heart that is a representation of your love for the kithship. The ushers will wait upon you now, and the various ways that you can contribute will appear on the screen during the special music. At this time, if you have a chalice at home that you put a flame to earlier in the service. We invite you to extinguish it now with us here. We douse the chalice in this holy place, but the flickering icon that illumines our faith, we nurture still, burning deep within to heal a hurting world. Now we begin.
So as we move towards concluding our service, Maureen will come forward. Go ahead, Maureen.
Looks like this thing is, hello, can you hear me? I'm Maureen Sandberg, and I'm a co-president of the board here at First U. Today, it's my job to say goodbye to Marina, and once again, we have to say goodbye to one of our staff members. If you walk to the back of the sanctuary, turn right, continue walking, go down the steps, you'll find the church office. The church office is where the engine of this church resides. And Marina has been one of the major stokers of the engine here, doing all kinds of things for us, not just being a wonderful business manager, very meticulous, but she does other things as well, like managing our relationship with the EEC, working on, publishing the e-news, and even cleaning closets. Marina has done a myriad of things that do not relate to our finance reporting. So Marina, if you would come up here. We have prepared a plaque for you that you are invited to display prominently in an appropriate place in your home. And the plaque says as follows: presented to Marina Van Ressen with deepest gratitude and appreciation in recognition of 18 years of dedicated service as business manager for the First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware. Your unwavering attention to detail, tireless commitment, and willingness to go above and beyond, especially in managing relationships and tasks well outside of your formal role. You have left a lasting impact on our community. With heartfelt thanks from the Board of Trustees and the executive team, First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware, June 29, 2025. Thank you, Marina. Yes, yes. You all are invited to go back in the parish hall after the benediction and have some cake with us. There's also a book that you might write a note or two in to Marina. And there are pretty flowers there for you, a beautiful bouquet, and even a couple of flowers, a couple of bouquets for Kate and Lauren. So thank you so much. Bye, love.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great ride.
All right. Marina has been that central person that has helped tie things together and keep things moving along. She likes to use the word engine, you know, and so this is the engine where things get moving along, and she's been a great conductor around that and managing that. So our benediction is from Reverend Cameron Trimble. She writes, "You do not need only a megaphone to change the world. You need a rooted heart, a courageous spirit, and a willingness to align your ordinary life with extraordinary love. Let your body become a prayer. Let your daily choices become their own protest against despair." With that, let's stand, and maybe we'll sing just 2 verses of the closing song just because of time. The closing hymn is number 325, "Love Makes a Bridge."
Thank you.